Hey guys, and welcome to Bomb Anime. It's your girl
Briga
and Big Boy Summer here. We're bringing you a new episode of Tower of God. You know what it is. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
So, what can we say about this anime? It's lit! So, before we even get to see the tower, we see this weird dynamic between Rachel and Bam. It's making me feel like this is more of a love story than anything else. Even though we've got all of our fighting and all that kind of stuff, it seems a bit like a love story.
I don't think it's a love story, really. I think it's more of an obsession. He seems to be obsessed with her. I don't get him knowing her at all. I don't get that come across. All I get is that he's more like infatuated. Sort of like a sick puppy or a adulting dog or something.
That's way harsh. I would say he's definitely dependent on her.
Well, she did save his life, and he just seems to be latching onto that for the whole time. It sort of reminds me of Overlord. It kind of reminds me of how Climb is with Renna.
Exactly like that. It reminds me of that as well, to be honest. Except, Rachel doesn't seem to be such a beep about it. The whole thing makes me think of rebellion. Like, it seems to be running through. Like, Yuri gives the sword to Bam when she shouldn't. You've got her following him to the next level when she shouldn't be. You've got him even being in the tower when it seems like he also shouldn't be there. It just seems like everyone wants to do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing.
Well, it is called the Tower of God, and when you win or climb it, you do get any wish you like. So I'm guessing we need a little bit of unorthodoxy in this situation in order to get there.
Well, the whole thing is unorthodox because how do you even get to the tower? Rachel sort of disappeared in light, I guess. She disappeared into the tower. And then Bam got transported there, and he didn't say like, oh, I want to be in the tower or anything like that, but he still got transported. So it kind of makes me think that you get transported there when you have a really, really strong emotion for something. Rachel said she wanted to see the stars, and we see that throughout. She keeps mentioning it over and over again. So maybe she had one big wish, and that's why she got transferred. And Bam really, really wanted to see Rachel again. So maybe you get transported when there's something you want that only the tower can provide or something like that. I'm not really sure. I want to know how you get into the tower in the first place. Bam didn't even know how he was there.
Yeah, I mean, they kept spouting out regulars and irregulars, and apparently Bam's an irregular, so is Rachel a regular? Because we didn't see her in that first stage that he was in.
She would probably also be an irregular because they said that irregulars are people that open the gates by themselves. So that makes me feel like there are people who are outside the tower and people who are maybe born inside the tower. And that's where the regulars and irregulars come from. Also, when Bam was transported, he was transported to where all the regulars were. So it seems like regulars are usually the only people that can actually do the tower.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what happens in that sense. I mean, Bam, if not anything, he's determined, very determined. And he even said it himself, he couldn't care less about the tower. He just wants to go and see his girlfriend. I
feel like his character so far is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
He's just weak. He's pathetic. He's shaking all over the place. Why did you come here? You knew what this was about. At first you had conviction, and I was appreciating that. Everyone was appreciating that. And then you get there, and then you're just trembling and acting like you're gonna cry every second. Like, why are you here?
You're saying that I'm harsh, but like, you just described a sick puppy. Just saying.
Oh, I wouldn't call him a sick puppy. It's just he's not made for this life.
What are you saying? He's not about that life, though.
So they're saying that like everything exists at the top of the tower. How realistic does this seem to you? Everything.
You want to talk about realism in an anime that deals with a tower that you can get special wish at the top?
But I really want to know what exactly is outside of the tower. They talk about a world of darkness. Rachel's never seen stars or sky. She actually said there's this thing called the sky, as if she had read it in a book. We saw Bam like on a pile of rocks trying to get out of somewhere. What exactly is outside of the tower? That seems more mysterious than the actual tower itself.
I mean, yeah, you do get the vibes that, this is a standard tower. Loads of tests, loads of trials, loads of climbing, that kind of thing. But it is the first episode. I'm pretty sure we're going to probably hear a bit more about what real life is like.
Maybe we won't. Maybe they won't even discuss it. Maybe it's all about the tower. It's called Tower of God, and we're already at the tower, so who knows? I hope we do get to find out some more information about it, though. Let's move on to test number 1.
So the first test is him having to destroy this steel ball in a cage with a Leviathan sort of dragon serpent creature. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect him to deal with it that way.
I kind of did, because that's what I would do. The outside of the eel seemed so strong. They talked about loads of people getting consumed by it, so the best thing to do is to be inside the animal's mouth, because that's where all of its soft bits are, whereas the outside probably has the scale. It said he had iron scales or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get through that with a weapon. So to me, I would have gone into its mouth.
The thing is as well, like, as you said earlier, he had conviction around then. He was ready to jump in. No weapon, no planning, no pocket, nothing. He was like, yeah, cool, that's the test, I'm down. And he just went for it.
When I think about it, he's more stupid than brave. The ball was really weird. I don't understand why it was so hard to break. What exactly were they expecting him to do?
Well, I kind of feel like it goes with the sort of themes about conquering and trials and stuff like. So the first test had a serpent and a steel ball. The serpent was a test of bravery and courage, and he did pass that quite easily. He stared death in the face, jumped in its mouth, cut it up a bit. But the second test was endurance. Your aim is to break that ball, and that's not an easy ball to break, and you have to keep going. He got a little bit of help, but he didn't stop.
I don't know, that whole thing confused me. The fact that it was even in test number 1, when they'd already said earlier on that even people on the 20th floor find it really hard to deal with this eel. So I'm just wondering what the motivation is of giving him this test as his first test when they know that he's irregular and he also wasn't exactly strong. What were they trying to get from that? Because it seems like Head-On can basically change what tests you get and when you get them. So what exactly was Head-On trying to gain from this?
I don't know, maybe Head-On saw something in him that it was like, yeah, you're the one that's going to do this tower.
I don't think anyone is expecting him to be completing the tower. I mean, I don't.
Well, look at what happened. He first came in, he got lucky and got a pocket. He got lucky and got a super great sword. He got lucky and didn't die straight away as soon as he jumped in with the snake. He got lucky and the sword decided to help him out. If luck is his power, he could probably luck his way to the top.
I don't think he has any power. It's just people taking pity on him at this point. Well, whatever being came out of that sword might not be motivated by that. She seemed a bit motivated by something else.
She wanted a bit of Bam Bam.
He's just not giving me enough. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm actually really loving this anime and I can't wait to keep watching it. But Bam is just a bit of a wet blanket right now.
He's a bit 2D right now. But as they flesh him out, I'm sure he'll get better. We can only hope. Cross our fingers.
What do you think about that second test? If you can call it that.
Well, technically, that's the first test for the regulars. So Bam had to prove himself to even get to that stage. And that's weird, because it looked epic. The way that they showed how grueling it is and how, like, anybody could get it.
Well, we don't know because the other players might have had to have a test before that as well. Because they had said Rachel would have spent some time in the tower when they meet again. So that makes me feel that the passage of time might be a little bit different or strange. Like, she might be a lot older than him, even though they entered the tower mere moments apart. When he entered the tower, he should have seen Rachel, and he didn't. So that's making me feel like maybe everyone's trials are kind of separated from each other, and they'll put them together in trials like the second one, like this battle royale style murderthon. But we don't really know like how the tower works.
Well, how about we don't think that Rachel should be there moments after? What if Rachel is super duper OP? What if she's just clearing these things like they're nothing because she's going to that goal?
Once she got there, wouldn't Head-On have to speak to her and be like, okay, this is the trial, blah blah blah?
Only if she's an irregular. But technically, wouldn't she be? She didn't look like she had a weapon on her when she went into the gate or anything like that.
And I'm guessing that the people who are regulars are literally born inside the tower in some kind of way.
Why do you get that feeling? Because I feel like the regulars are people who have trained to take on the tower, go to the allotted gates that are known, and then get put through. So what makes you think that they're born in the tower?
Because we've got the Princess of Jahad, and Bam had no idea who she was. So it makes me feel like if she was the princess of wherever he's from, he would definitely know who she is. Like, we know our royalty, we know who, like, Americans know who their president are, we know who our prime minister is. Like, it's just something that you would know. You'd know who your king is, you'd know who your queen is, you'd know who your royal officials are.
Yeah, but we're assuming that they're in Jahad though. Like, he wasn't born, we don't know where he's from or where he's from or where Rachel's from or anything like that. It might not even be Jahad. So for example, if you went in the gate and you're from UK and you ended up in, I don't know, some Scandinavian country, you're not going to know who the kings and queens of there are either.
That's true, but I would know what Scandinavia is. She's a princess of Jahad. It's a country, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to even have any knowledge of that. I feel like you'd know what your countries are. Even when we watch media that's set in different times, they still know, like, the places on the map. So I just feel like his knowledge was too low for them to be existing in the same space or on the same map.
Yeah.
And also, like, when we saw Test 2, we saw, like, people that were not even looking like humans. Granted, we don't know if the rest of the world looks like that and that's a normal thing or not. We're not really sure. But I do know that from the real world, or from Bam's world, we've only seen humans. And as soon as we enter the tower, we see Head-On, who is clearly not human.
He looks like a Pokemon, let's be honest.
He does look like a Pokemon. And then when you enter the second stage, you see a lot of people who are not actually people. So that really, again, makes me feel like there's a separation between the tower and outside of the tower as well.
Yeah. So, okay, what about the characters?
We don't have any of the people from Stage 2's names, but I'm already interested in the guy with silver hair.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna be quite OP in this.
I hope that we get a team up with Bam, because I just want to see him on the screen more. And the girl who's not a girl, Demon maybe? She reminds me of, like, she could be from, like, Hunter x Hunter.
The whole thing has got Hunter x Hunter vibes though. It does feel a bit surreal. I mean, the way that they presented the second test was a bit surreal for me.
What, the Battle Royale? We've seen tons of those.
Yeah, but the way they went about it, one guy aiming at someone, getting killed by someone else, getting killed by someone else, getting killed by someone else.
It was awesome. I actually loved that. Like, as soon as you thought you knew what was going on, you had, like, a small snapshot of the whole. You're looking at it, and then all of a sudden, something else happens. I feel like it's way more realistic than we usually get to see animes. You know, in animes, a lot of the times, someone's talking a lot, and every single person waits for the person to finish their whole long speech before they make a move. That's not what you're getting here. I really like it. It's way more realistic, and it's more exciting because you just never know what's going to happen.
So what about Yuri? What do you think of her?
I don't know. Like, what is her motivation? She says she's doing it because she's bored, but I'm not buying it. Why would she give away such a prized possession to be used in Stage 1 when she didn't think that Bam had anything going for him in the first place? Why would she lend it to him?
And why would her and the spirit inside the sword, or God inside the sword, or whatever, say the exact same words?
That I noticed that as well. That was really eerie. Either the sword was speaking through Yuri, or they have some of the same thought. Also, why was Yuri gonna jump in and help him, knowing that it would make Bam fail? So I can't even say that her motivation is for him to finish the tower, because she was gonna intervene and make him basically get disqualified.
You know what? I don't know. What is her purpose here? Because she's clearly not part of the tower. Like, she's not going through the tower. So what is her point of being here?
They mentioned something about changing the tower, but I don't really know what her motivations are. It's slightly upsetting that everyone seems more interesting than Bam, who is supposed to be our main protagonist.
So what about Rachel? Because the way I see Rachel, I don't know much more than she's got a goal. Bam be damned. It doesn't matter who he is. From the little bit I've seen, it's kind of like selfish and self-centered.
I don't think that Rachel matters much.
Jeez.
It reminds me of, like, you know The Witcher? He's looking for Ciri the whole time. But it's not about Ciri. Yeah, you have a main person who's there, but they're really just there to move the main protagonist along on their journey.
Yeah, I mean, like, she provides the literary motivation that is supposed to carry the whole show. Because, as you said, the whole anime so far, based on what I've seen, is the journey of Bam to Rachel. And since we're going on this journey, we're going to get lots of hijinks, but we always have that main motivation: go get Rachel. I like the way that they've interpreted the story so far. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think that it's going to be a banger.
So what exactly do you like about it?
I like all the mystery surrounding everything. The characters are selling it for me right now, more than the tower itself. I'm with Bam. I don't care about the tower. We're seeing levels to these characters. I feel like their journeys are going to be interesting. I feel like we're going to have a lot of conflict between people who know each other because everyone has a goal. How many people are allowed to claim everything that you wish for? Because even if you team up, if there's only one winner, eventually those friends are going to become foes. And I'm just here for it. I'm here for everything.
So you've got your tea and your popcorn ready?
I've got my popcorn. I've got everything. I am waiting. What about you? What are you really loving about this anime?
I'm interested. I want to know what's going on. What I like the most so far is I've not been able to predict nothing this whole time. The story seems regular. The action seems regular. The outcomes are completely different. And I like that. That's great for me. And it's keeping me on my toes. So yeah, that's what I like about it. You got any predictions for episode 2?
I'm just here for the ride. So why don't you let us know what you think, guys?
Yeah, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and meet us in the comments. Peace.